I just think now is a good time to try to transition and for that chief to have some support in that transition.
Columbia Police Chief Geoff Jones says now he feels like, quote, the right time to retire. After 25 years at Columbia Police Department, 4 of those as chief, Jones will step away next week. KOMU 8's Emily Spain sat down with Chief to talk about his time in the corner office as his days with the badge come to a close.
Why did you want to be chief?
If you remember in our first interview, I wasn't sure I did.
From his days as interim chief in 2019.
Do you want the job full time?
I don't know yet. I'm not doing this for a title or a paycheck.
To more than 4 years at the helm. Geoff Jones says he's ready to let someone else steer the ship.
My kids are ready for me to be home. In this job, you can't go to sleep because you're thinking about how to solve a problem all of the time. It's always going through your head. It becomes very taxing.
He started off in rocky seas, taking over a department officers described as toxic in employee surveys under his predecessor's leadership.
But overall, seeing people happier than they were has been very rewarding. They come to our command staff meetings, and unless it's a personnel-related issue, they get to hear the reasoning behind decisions we make. And that wasn't happening before.
The coast wasn't clear from there. In 2020, Jones led CPD during the pandemic and protests following the death of George Floyd.
What was it like for you to lead your department during that year specifically?
Wow. Having to come to work and sanitize the cars inside and out, sending in N95 masks to the university to get them sanitized because we didn't have enough to just switch them out. It was scary. The protests, I can't take a political position on them, but I can look at it and go, I can really empathize with why people are upset. You saw police officers wanting to go to protests in uniform, which is something I had never seen before.
His department went on to make headlines for solving major cases, like finding the remains of Megan Schultz in the Columbia landfill.
It was a big deal, partly because we were told it couldn't be done.
Searching for missing mom Meng Shiji in a river.
We dammed a river looking for her.
Finding her in a park and arresting her husband, to finally naming baby Doe.
Simone J. Daniels.
Identifying baby Doe was a big deal for me.
Still, his time as chief wasn't without criticism.
What do you say to people who believe Columbia isn't safe anymore?
Crime statistics don't support that. Part of the downside of being more transparent and putting out more information is that there's more volume and people see it more. They understand it more, so they assume that it's worse.
According to state data, violent crime in Columbia has fluctuated the past few years, peaking in 2021 before dropping some in 2022 and estimated to drop some again this year. Another trend? Violence involving juveniles, an issue Jones says is complex.
You'll never arrest your way out of it. There has to be activities for kids, there has to be accountability for kids, and we have to get away from normalizing the use of firearms, particularly in solving disputes. None of that can be done through the police.
He also leaves CPD understaffed, a challenge again shared by departments nationwide.
First of all, the volume of calls, what people call the police for, is different. I remember when I first started on day shift, I would get 3 calls a day. And our cops are lucky if they don't get 3 calls an hour. Obviously, a lack of support for law enforcement, placing all of these societal systemic issues at the feet of police causes people to pause before going into this line of work, and I think that's fair.
Jones says this time in his life has sailed.
I've learned a lot about so many things, and I'm just grateful for that opportunity.
And for now, he's handing in his badge for uncharted waters.
What is next for you?
The first thing that I'm going to do is take a vacation. Obviously, I'll work again. I'm weighing out those options, but the first thing that I'm going to do is take a vacation.
Well, Chief Jones' last day is August 1st. Assistant Chief Matt Stevens will serve as interim. Jones says he thinks the ideal candidate for his replacement is someone who is present and available, but mostly someone who cares. For more of my interview with Jones, head to our website, KOMU.com.